Joining us now is head coach of the Coventry Blaze, Danny Stewart. Danny, how are you, mate?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Recovered from that bumpy landing we had today. But yeah, no, feeling good. Obviously, after the result last night.
Yeah, we're not even 24 hours out of that. But want to talk to you about the season so far, Danny. It was all change in the summer. We obviously lost Ross Venus and Alex Forbes, who have been stalwarts for the club. It was a big rebuild, 10 new imports. And you said late on into last season that we were going to go with the two import goalies this year. How tough was it to build this team up for this season?
Yeah, it was tougher in different ways, I guess, than other seasons. I mean, we've certainly gotten used to rebuild. I don't know if rebuild's the right word, but changeover. Um, but certainly this year with losing veteran Brits like Forbes and Venus, um, and then losing your captain in Halbert, losing guys like Johnny Kern and Marley Quintz and Peyton Franny that were just big pieces. And you know again, it's a roll of the dice, right? Like you're bringing guys that you think have the ability to replace those guys, but whether they do like for like, whether they do in different ways, whether they gel with the guys that they're playing with, the guys in the room in different ways, that's the roll of the dice sometimes. And you do your homework as much as possible, but at the end of the day, there's still an element of luck with that.
A big jigsaw to the piece of bringing players back was obviously Brady Norris, who you've made captain, Kim Talberg, who's the ultimate pro, Kukali, who had the veteran experience, and then alongside that with Tyler Kirkup, who came in lights out last year. Cook had a very impressive year, and JD Dudek. So that was the core you brought back. We bring in Cozen. Was that an easy decision to make because of what you've seen in with Cardiff?
Yeah, we really liked Cozen. We liked his. I mean, we liked everything we heard about him off the ice. That's something that been public about. I think every coach does, but we want good people here, and everything we heard off the ice was top notch. And then we liked his game on the ice. We thought he was a very good goalie. We loved his ability to play the puck as well. So yeah, no, that was an easy decision. Hence it was pretty early signing in the summer for us. So I think it's first time in my history, even Fife and here having goalies wrapped up by, I think, it wasn't even June yet, and we had our goaltending situation sorted.
And the move for Nolan Kent, first year pro, especially in that position, it can be a risk, but you can't be going in with two top end goalies with budgets, etc. He's not let you down. You've put him in tough situations away in Scotland. He had a few shaky moments, but his breakthrough moment for the Blaze was that game against Nottingham where he was lights out.
He was phenomenal. I don't think we win that game without Nolan Kent that night. And I don't know if shaky's the right word up. I think he was put in for his first couple games when we weren't necessarily clicking and playing well in front of our goalies. So and it takes some time, but he's a competitor, unbelievable attitude, and he's a heck of a goalie. So yeah, he's given us that depth, and we have no hesitation, and we've been clear from the start that Cozy's our guy, but there's no hesitation with Nolan. And in December here, he's featured in a couple games. He'll feature in a couple more here, and to have that ability to give your guy a little bit of rest, but not just I guess get weaker and still come back with a very, very good goalie is obviously a strong attribute that we like having, and something that we're getting used to.
No, it's definitely. I think you can never go back to just having the one guy, and I think more teams will follow suit. I know a lot are doing that now. Start of the season was tough. We went very young this year. We spoke to David Clements and Ian McNulty, and they both said you were honest when recruiting that we were going young. It would take some time to gel. But as fans, you don't always see that. You just want to see the results. And when we lost the first 5 at home, losing to Fife and Dundee, what was your thought process in that time? Because it's easy to maybe get a little deflated in how the results are going.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think the fashion that we lost games too, in particular, the two Fife games at home. Um, I think the first one there 4-1 up, and then we blew that, and they throw a puck to the net with under a minute left, and it has eyes, and we lose that game. And then, the game we lost when we were up 3-1, where they're digging a puck out of their own corner, was 8 seconds left or 9 seconds left. Like that play will never happen again. Like that, you have a better chance to win in the lottery than that ever happening again. And that was obviously disappointing, not just for me, but for everyone in the group. And was I deflated at times? Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. But I think, you know, in these situations, I've got a lot of experience now. We go back to the days in Newcastle and Fife where things were about as bad as they could be for any coach, and then building those teams up, and early times with the Blaze as well, playing in when the conference system my first year, and feeling the heat there. So I've been here a long time. I still saw good signs, even though that the results weren't coming through. I saw some good signs. And did I know we would hit December and go 9-10 unbeaten? No, absolutely not. But I knew at some point we would find our game. But I won't lie, we got to the end of November there, and we were sitting last place there, and I think 4 or 5 points behind ninth place. And then all of a sudden you look at your December schedule and you're like, whew, we got to survive this month or things could get ugly. And I think just as a group, we just, the guys, they're a close knit group in there. And again, a lot of good people. And when you go through those tough times, having good people in the room makes things easier, and allows you to work through that. And, you'd like to think that that early season adversity was a building block for this group. And, we're seeing these guys play good hockey now. And, but we're self-aware enough to know that, we keep our heads down and we keep working, because that table in this league is so good and it's so tight that, 2 bad weeks, you're right back down.
Yeah. And you are a player's coach. Any player we speak to, it's player first mentality. But unfortunately, the nature of the beast is roster changes will have to happen. We lose Burnside and Donhauser, but the guys that have come in, I mean, these guys are looking around for a contract. You're taking a chance on these guys. But I mean, Carter Allen, the D man, he is just coming in as a D man, and game on game, he's getting more expressive with the puck. A hell of a signing for the back end.
Yeah. When we decided to make those moves, and again, never easy, like, people maybe don't understand, I lose night's sleep over having to do that. But it's unfortunately part of the job. And, but bringing Carter in, first, is an element that we were missing. We had a couple other options on the table, guys maybe create more offense, or maybe a little bit, whatever. But when we saw him, it was just like, it just kept going back to his physicality and his compete levels. And again, everything I'd heard, I had some good references from Florida where he was in camp, and the coach just raved about him, how unbelievable human being, great teammate, and just competes. And we've seen that, and he's actually come in and exceeded our expectations as well. And he's been solid defensively. He's kept it simple, but he's been that kind of meat and potatoes guy on the back end, and the physical element, sorry, that we were lacking. And he's been great for us. And then obviously bringing Aiden in as well, just gave us a little bit more pace through the middle. He's really, helped our forecheck and, our ability to pressure pucks, in the offensive zone. And he's been a great signing as well.
Well, with Aiden signing, it kind of allowed you to jiggle up the lines a bit, and that's been very advantageous. You move McNulty out onto the wing, onto the second line. And another player that we went down the NCAA Division 3 route, we got that Peyton Franti last year, but Alessio Luciani, playing with a smile on his face, and been a very, very dangerous player these last few weeks.
Yeah, I know for sure. And, Luch he's got a good hockey head. He thinks the game. And I think it, he was certainly a guy that took some time to kind of process things a little bit. Guys come out of college, the same college, playing for 4 years a lot of the time, and they've played the same system. They've heard the same voice for 4 years. And then all of a sudden you get to a new team, and not only is pro hockey slightly different, but you got a new coach, new system. So sometimes it takes time to process things. But, now he's just, he's playing his natural game. He's reading and reacting, and you could see he's just that little bit quicker to, on and off the puck. And, he's been really good for us the last 3 or 4 weeks, and, a big part of our success.
Yeah, some of his goals is his stick knowledge and where to be, and the tips and the diversions. It's just been great to see. We had Mitch Cook and Tyler Kirkup last year. It's easy to look at points and goals, but that line of hit them and Spellacy, they are not harming this team in any way. They are giving the other forwards the chance to score the goals. And how important have they been? Even though I know they're going to be frustrated, the goals haven't been there for them.
Yeah, and nobody knows that more than them, right? Like they both want to get on the score sheet more often, but they were our best line in the Glasgow weekend by far.
Yeah,
by far. I mean, they brought so much energy, and they were like I said, they were our best line, and then they got on the score sheet. I think Spell had one, and Kirky had one. Cookie had a couple nice assists there. So it's starting to come for those guys, and the chances they had at home against Glasgow was ridiculous. Like I think they had 2 or 3 posts, and Cookie, but he's a guy that obviously wants to be on the score sheet. He scored 21 goals, and he has that ability, and he'll get there. But with Cookie, just every other part of his game is just so good for us. PK, off the puck, forecheck, and he's just, he just does everything to a T. So he'll get going. Once he gets that first one, I have a feeling like they'll start dropping.
We obviously needed a little bit of experience, and you brought 2 players in from the league. Ian McNulty, who had a frustrating year by his own admission in Guildford, he wasn't being utilised, and then bringing in Danny Christo, who went to Sheffield for part of last year, where there's a lot of flair players in. What have they brought to the team? It's like, especially with Danny Christo, I think he came in going, you're going to be his go-to guy. How much has he flourished for you this year?
Yeah, really good. I think both of them, like Nolts, it's kind of been, trying to find where I felt he was better center wing. Sometimes I'm still in between. But with the way the lines worked out, we wanted a little more pace through the middle, and that's why we went, JD and Spell there. And but since we put him on the wing, he's been on a tear point wise, right? And he's a chip off the old block in the dressing room, right? He's a guy that'll hold guys accountable and call guys out if they're not bringing what they need to. And Danny's just a skilled guy. He's obviously got a great pedigree. He's played at every level, and obviously was brought in to produce, and he's done that. And a good example of him is like at home against Glasgow. I don't think. And I know he'd be the first to admit it. He probably didn't have his best game, but he props up and he sets up the tying goal and then scores the OT winner, and and gets us 2 points. So like those guys have been in to produce, and they have done so. So yeah, they've been they've led by example, and they've been a big part of our success.
And the Brits, I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit later on about David Clements, but the guys that have been away to GB, Hopkins and Hazeltine, the fixtures are non-stop now, the Christmas period. Home and away Flames, home and away Panthers, home and away Devils. It's going to be all hands to the deck, and they're going to get some ice time, I can imagine.
Yeah, and it's down to me to get them out there more, right? There's been a few games where we get into the office, and I say I think to myself, I should have got them out there a little bit more. But at the same time, these guys are 19, and like, for example, last night we didn't get them out there much at all, but they just come back from playing U20s and playing, no disrespect to Team Spain and Team China and the U20 level, but it's a heck of a jump from that to the Belfast Giants in a second leg of a quarterfinal. So we're just trying to get the best out of them now, and when they're on and they're playing well, they can earn more ice time. But yeah, no, definitely, I think we're at a point now where we've got some niggles here in the lineup. We'll find out some more tomorrow, but there might be a situation where a couple injuries is the opportunity that they need to showcase themselves, right? And every player goes through it, whether you're a Brit or an import, at different levels, different leagues. And the problem with the Brits is they want, and no, I'm not talking these guys. I shouldn't even say Brits. Everyone wants everything now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want to be playing top 9 and top 6 and special teams and stuff. But it's tough for guys to be patient these days, but they're two good kids and they've got the ability to play at this level, and it's just trying to get them to where they need to be to be, to get more ice time.
And let's talk about the Challenge Cup, the first leg. Been around long enough where we've gone into first legs and tried to go at the guys, and we've gone away a couple of goals down. What was the game plan? Just to keep it close and then see what happened in Belfast.
I wouldn't say necessarily. I don't think those words ever come to my mouth. Like, let's keep it close. We approached that game and we wanted to win a hockey game. That's, first leg, you're going in to win a hockey game, and that's essentially what it comes down to. And we played a good one. Like, obviously we did our pre-scout, made the guys aware of where we needed to be good, and where we make sure that we were, like, Belfast is so deep. They got, when you got even last night, you got Johnny Kern, who scored 25 goals, top 10 scorer in the league, and Kieran Long, who was a 30-goal scorer in this league in Manchester, on your fourth line, right? So you want to play with the puck as much as possible. So you got to manage the puck, and you got to be strong defensively and be above things. And we did a heck of a job. I think that game, that first leg, was probably the best we've defended all year against anybody. And then, the couple times they got inside us, which they will naturally with how good they are, Cozy made some big stops, and, we put ourselves in a good situation. And what I liked was the aggregate was kind of taken away. And like you said, yeah, we a lot of times found ourselves 2-0 down, 3-0 down, or, and then you're pushing from the start, and it's very difficult. But, the one message we sent to the guys before going to Belfast was that, like, the aggregate's out of it now. We're just going in to win a hockey game, and it's just a regular game now. And, fortunately we were able to do that in whatever way we did.
I mean, let's talk about last night. I mean, we go 4-0 down. I mean, we were playing a sensible game. We weren't allowing them, trying to keep them to the outsides and that. But how did we get to that point? What did you feel what kind of went wrong for us?
Well, I think from the outside looking in, it's easy to say, well, we just tried to be sensible and keep them to the outside. But the first 6-7 minutes of first period, we came out really well. We had a couple good chances early on, and then I just think we were a team that looked sluggish. I think we looked fatigued, and I mentioned it in my interview. And this isn't us being in any worse way than any other team. And every league, every team, sorry, in this league has a busy month. And I just think it'll catch up to teams at different points. And we just looked tired. And I think in the second period, and credit to Belfast, they upped their pace, they upped their game. They spread us out in the D zone, and they really made it tough on us. And we went a little bit into retreat mode, and naturally, because we gave up a couple of chances, and they were able to take advantage of that, and they really hemmed us in. Boy, if it wasn't for Cozy, I think it would have been worse than 2-0. And then we went over a couple things in the break, and then came out. Unfortunately, gave up those two, and I think more times than not, a team would probably feel, dead and dusted. But, we got a little bit of puck luck with that first goal, and, kind of gave us a bit of a spark. And then from there, we started doing the things we had talked about, and started playing hockey and keeping it simple and getting pucks to the net and bodies at the net. And obviously the second goal was just simply that, a good shot from the point from Tally, and JD's going to the heart area and goes off him. And again, you know what I mean? You can call that puck luck, but again, you're playing the right way, and sometimes you're in your own luck. So, and then from there, we just started playing.
Well, I think with the lead up to the first goal, Aiden just skates with the puck, his head down, he's looking to make chances, and he goes in and he hits the boards hard, and he's straight up, and he go to the bench. And then the guys kind of G up from that, I felt. And we do get a bit of a look on the first goal. But I mean, David Clements last night, that last 10 minutes, he showed why he is this club. It's funny because he goes into behind the net, and Tolberg covers for him, takes a shot because he's covering. We get the goal. And then straight away, I think we scored 3 goals in 2 minutes 20. Yeah. I mean, I had to watch it back this morning because I was in that much of a blade. I couldn't remember what actually happened. What was the feeling like on the bench when you got it to 4-3, 4-4? Were the guys keeping them? How did you keep them calm, or was it just let's keep going, boys?
I don't, I think the guys they're great. They're a great group of guys, man. Like it's down to the players why we came back in that game. You know what I mean? Like when we got that second one, it was just like you could kind of look down the bench and it was like, okay, here we go. It's a game again. 2 goals. It's not insurmountable. We got, I think at the time there was still 8 or 9 minutes left.
Yeah,
And then when the third one got in, you just seen the bench lift. And I think, then Belfast kind of went into a little bit of retreat mode there. And, we put the pressure on and then we got that tying goal. And I think that tying goal actually, it's weird how momentum shifts. I think that kind of woke Belfast up.
yeah. There was a little lull after that, I noticed.
Yeah. And they just turned up the heat again and they got a couple. Obviously the power play helped. The refs, they let us play all night long. And I think the longer you let that go, it's tougher to call a penalty. But unfortunately, they called that one on Lucci and gave them a late power play. And through that, they had some really good chances and they got the momentum back. Even though they didn't score, they got the momentum back from that power play. And then they kind of took that into overtime too. And although both teams had chances, I think they had the better chances in overtime. And, again, Cozy came up big.
Yeah, I think there was one whistle in overtime. I can't
Yeah.
remember. Can't remember another one.
We had a couple good shot blocks there too, guys putting their bodies on the line. And that's, what, if you're going to go into Belfast in a second leg of a quarterfinal and win a hockey game, that's what you need to do. You need a little bit of puck luck. You need your goalie to make key stops, and you obviously you got to put your body on the line. And the guys certainly did that.
Yeah, and I mean, with the shootout's a lottery, but the guys are playing with confidence. Belfast, the ice was all chopped up. They were trying the deeks, and it ultimately failed them. But going into the dressing room after the game, what was it like? Because I mean, I was jumping around the house.
You know what, guys were excited. Rightfully so. They were pumped. But there was that little bit of a feeling of like, wow, did that just happen? Because it's to come back from 4 goals with 15 minutes left in hockey it doesn't happen very often. Certainly in Belfast against the Giants. So, they were pumped up and we were excited, obviously, as a staff. And it's just good for it's good for the team. It's good for this group of guys. They've earned it. We, like I said, we dug ourselves off the basement there about 4 weeks ago, and we've gone on a little bit of a run here, and I think they've really deserved it. We all took some heat at the time, and they feel good about it. But at the same time, it was like, wow, did that just happen? And I think probably a little bit on the other side, Belfast is probably wondering the same thing.
Yeah, but well, screw them. 4 weeks away from the semi final. The first time we've been in the semi final for 8 years. We haven't won the Challenge Cup for 17 years. You were playing for us when we last won it. It's an important competition to me, and it's an important competition to a lot of fans. How much have you bled it into the players that let's go and win this trophy or try to win this trophy?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no more than we try to win the other ones, right? Like I know our track record in the Challenge Cup hasn't been great the last, 10 or so years, certainly since I've been here, but, I would, some people think it's excuses, but when you're in a group with Cardiff and Guildford, it's not easy. And to work your way through that and try to qualify through. And then, because naturally the last 4 or 5 seasons, we're all plucking points off each other. And so, it's tough to get a higher seeding. So if you end up, that 6 seed, 7 seed, 8 seed, you're ending up against a Belfast or a Cardiff or, unfortunately last year we killed it in the Challenge Cup group and we led the group and we ended up playing a team in the quarterfinals that had a 95 win percentage in the league at the time. And we're just in a better place than us at the time when we played the quarterfinal. But, I'm excited. I'm excited for the guys. I'm excited for the organization, the fans as well. It's, I'm really looking forward to the first leg at home, obviously against the Steelers, big stage. And, if you're going to win a cup, you got to go through the best. So, no better time to do it than semifinal.
And it's a rink that we've been in twice this year, took points out of both the games. So it's, I mean, Danny, I'm really looking forward to it. Danny, thanks for joining us tonight. I know you've had a busy day's traveling, and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, no problem. Merry Christmas to you and Merry Christmas to all our fans, and hope to see you guys soon.